How's it going, guys? My name is Zach with the Movie Castle, and today we're going to be talking about Stranger Things Halloween Special. This is from Dark Horse Comics. It's a one-shot, so not a series. You just got one thing in here, and it is a special issue of the comics for Halloween. Now, to those of you who are watching this, when it comes out, you may be like, hey, Zach, why are you doing a Halloween special in January? And, well, that is simply because my comic book store put this comic in a different place than I would have expected them to put all the Stranger Things comics, and I simply didn't see it until just recently. So, that's kind of me not searching the store as thoroughly as I should, and I didn't see this till just now, so we're getting it a little late. But that being said, I still want to review all the Stranger Things comics on here, so getting to this one, and let's go ahead and take a look at it. First things, the cover here, a really nice cover. You get Stranger Things, and then you get the three of them, and in this cover, for some reason, Lucas is the only one that's dressed up. He's dressed up like a skeleton, and they're in Castle Byers, and in the story, the kids are all dressed differently, and they're not actually in Castle Byers. They are in the woods, though, and then above them, you get this looming monster, which does look similar to that in the comic, but the parts where you actually see the monster are fairly well towards the end, so they probably fall into spoiler territory, so I probably shouldn't show you guys those shots towards the end. Maybe I'll put it at the very end. Anyway, flip it open, and first thing, credit where credit is due. First thing first before we get into the intro. Written by Michael Moreci, art by Todor Hristov, colors by Chris O'Halloran, letters by Nate Pecos of Blambot, and cover by Francesco Francavilla. I'm sorry if I mispronounced any of these names. And then since there's no previously on, you get this note: join the Stranger Things kids in this spooky special celebrating the art of telling scary stories around the campfire. After all, stories can't hurt you, can they? Basically a way of getting it out front. This is a Campfire Stories episode. Obviously, if they were to throw in a big, crazy Halloween adventure, it'd be hard for it not to be referenced on the show later. So kind of the fate of a lot of these tie-in comics is to, be something that the people on the show wouldn't necessarily have to reference. But anyway, you open it up here with a fun little thing. Will's older brother is watching Night of the Living Dead, and he can hear, for some reason, Will is feeding him what's going on with him and his friends through the walkie-talkie. You'll find out why later, but gotta love opening up with Night of the Living Dead. Such a classic movie, but also due to its copyright-free nature, it pops up in horror movies all the time. But anyway, you get post-trick-or-treating. The Stranger Things kids are huddled around a campfire, and they're telling each other scary stories. Lucas just finished his scary story, and unfortunately, unfortunately for him, all of his friends say, "Oh, you told the story wrong, that wasn't scary enough." And they're like, "Oh, well, fine. Does anyone else have a better scary story?" And really quickly, I want to say, when I first saw this, I thought, "Oh, hey, yeah, this is right after the Halloween episode of the show, right?" But then I pretty quickly realized, oh no, wait, they're not dressed up as the Ghostbusters, so this is Halloween a different year. You can actually see they're all dressed up as Star Wars characters. Lucas is Lando, Will is Luke, Dustin is Darth Vader, and Mike is Han Solo. And I thought that's pretty funny. They always go in group costumes, being the Ghostbusters one year and being Empire Strikes Back another year. That's pretty cool. Now, this does raise a question. what year is this? Is this Halloween before the Ghostbusters, or is this Halloween after the Ghostbusters? In Will's story, there's a character that looks like Max, so I'm guessing this has to be the year after, although they never really reference any of the main stories, so I guess it could be the year before. But I'm betting that this is Halloween between seasons 2 and 3 there. But anyway, Will talks and he starts to say, oh, well, we could tell the story of the Child Eater of Hawkins, which is a new monster to this story here. And they're like, wait, the Child Eater of Hawkins? And Will goes, oh, I'm sorry, we're not supposed to talk about it. We shouldn't tell the story, we should tell something else. Which, of course, makes them want to hear about it a lot more, which is a great storytelling tactic, you know. Oh, you don't want to hear about it. No, I really do want to hear about it. So that was pretty fun. So Will says that long time ago in Hawkins, there was a child eater, a scary monster, and the whole town swore to never talk about it, but he heard the story from his brother, who heard it from his father, and it every now and then gets passed around even though you're not supposed to tell people about it. Cut to the past, and in good Stranger Things fashion, you already get some little Easter eggs there. They're showing the Blob and the Mummy at the theater, and that would probably make this late 50s, early 60s. That means that the Mummy there is probably Hammer's version of the Mummy, because that would have been the newest one at the time. And then you get the first, one of the first 4 kids that's missing, Have You Seen Me, Beth Baker. But you see the kids get eaten, and all that's left behind is their clothes and a puddle of goo. You get the sheriff there. None of the police officers are in any relation to Hopper, as far as I can tell. So these are all, 1950s cops of their time, and they're trying to solve the mystery. And good little landscape shot there. They're trying to solve the mystery. Cut to some kids studying late in the library. Now, they never go out of their way to confirm this, but I do feel like these are 1950s versions of the Stranger Things kids, you know? So you get the 1950s version of Mike, Lucas, Max, and Eleven there. They never go out of their way to confirm this, but that's just what I felt like they were doing in this story. In which case, I have to wonder, hey, Will, why is there no Dustin in your story? Why didn't you put Dustin in your story? But anyway, the kids are out late talking, and they start to talk about the child eater. And a fun note, it's just a little thing, the white, when they're in the past, is actually slightly discolored, a slight yellowing on the white whenever they're in the past, and that's just a fun little detail there. But anyway, they start to mention how every so often the child eater comes, and I think it's something like every 30 years or so. The child eater comes, and he always eats exactly 8 kids, and so far only 4 have been eaten. So they only need 4 more, and of course there's 4 of them left in this group, and they're studying late at night at the library all by themselves. They go to leave the library, and quite unfortunately they find the doors are locked. So there's a monster on the loose. It's late at night, they're supposed to be home, there's like a curfew, and they're locked in the library. So that's already a pretty cool setup. And of course they hear thumping sounds, and they have to avoid the creepy monster. They have to try to survive, and it starts to pick them off one by one. I won't show you too terribly much of the climax, but you can see this scene here where the old-timey version of Eleven is standing in the background when suddenly goo drips on her head. She looks down like, what is that? And you see vague tentacles swirling in the background behind her. That's really fun, and of course the screaming. So I won't go any further in the story than that because don't want any spoilers. But overall, really fun, old-timey versions of the modern characters. New Stranger Things monster, but granted it's a campfire story, so we don't know if this is really real. But I did like, the idea that, it always comes back ritualistically and eats so many kids each time. Kind of a feeling of, like, say, It, that always came back every 27 years, So when you're doing a new Stranger Things story, to try to find popular 80s material to borrow from each time as well. So, a little bit of It thrown in there, and that really does make it feel more, Stranger Things-y, is to throw in, obscure little bits, like how several plot elements of Firestarter and E.T. were used in Season 1. But yeah, little tiny references to King and stuff. But a very fun story. However, I will say it is not something, super consequential, but it is fun to get to see these kids, and there's a nice bit with Will and his brother, and you feel like you get to know the characters a little bit better through this side story. One thing of note, I meant to mention it earlier, Michael Moreci, Jody Houser does a lot of the Stranger Things comics, so this is another writer stepping in, and he does a good job. He understands the characters and made a really interesting story. And I can totally see that Jody Houser is probably way too busy at the moment. Stranger Things actually has 2 books going. They usually only had 1. But right now they have Stranger Things Science Camp is running at the same time as Stranger Things Dungeons and Dragons, and Jody Houser is writing both of those, so too busy to write the Halloween special. I think I will go ahead and show you guys the panel with the monsters. Kind of a spoiler, so I saved it to the end, so if you guys don't want to see really anything from the end, you can just click away now. So gonna go ahead and show you guys the monster. If you don't want spoilers, if you don't want to see it, you can just turn the video off. But there's the page with when you finally see the child eater there. That is a pretty cool looking monster. I do like it feels like it could be in the same world as the Demogorgon, but it feels pretty unique, So you get this big, almost like swamp thing, cool eyes, and it's got this little it looks almost like it might be in a sunken mouth a little bit, maybe even like skeleton teeth. You don't ever get like a daylight broad clear look at it because it's a monster, you shouldn't. And then all these tentacles that wrap around the victim and pull it in, so you get the feeling it's kind of a mess of stuff. But really cool. I like how it feels like it could fit in with the Demogorgon, but it doesn't look like the Demogorgon, So it looks like the 2 monsters could be in the same universe, but nothing at all the same. So that's really cool. And so yeah, a fun campfire story. It does get a little dark when you get to the very end, but it's a campfire story. They're supposed to, with a fun, dark twist and disturbing endings. But overall, I had a lot of fun with this issue, and hey, it's just a one-shot, so to go on a fun, quick adventure is pretty cool, and you can do all that with just a single issue. So have to give major props to Dark Horse and the team there. The team there brought us a really cool book and a really fun story there. Anyway, I do a comic a week on this channel, so if you guys want more, I definitely recommend sticking around. Next week there'll be another comic, and at the end of the video a playlist will pop up to all my other comic videos, and there you can find more Stranger Things comics. The Other Side, 6, and Into the Fire I've already reviewed, which means with this the only thing I have to do is the young adult graphic novels, and then wait till issue 4 comes out of the main books. But anyway, to everyone who's watched so far, thank you for watching. To everyone who's liked and subscribed, thank you. Thank you. You really are helping the channel out. And anyway, have a good day. I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Comics playlist on the bottom, and there you can find my reviews for the other Stranger Things stuff as well. Alright, have a good day.